All right, so you guys want to know like what happened with that whole like Hawk to a crypto thing,
Yeah,
right?
the influencer
Yeah,
crypto.
so you sent over an investigative video and transcript about it,
Yeah.
and I got to say this is a pretty wild story.
Yeah, it's a wild one for sure.
Okay, so to start off, we've got Haley Welsh, or like she's better known as Hawk to a Girl.
Yeah,
Um, she's this influencer with like a ton of followers,
a lot. Yeah.
and she's out there promoting this new token to her fans.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing was like bringing regular people into crypto,
Yeah.
building a community, that whole thing.
Yeah, that's a common narrative that we see in crypto,
For
like
sure.
appealing to people's sense of belonging,
Right.
wanting to be part of something bigger, and of course the chance to make some money.
Yeah, totally. I mean, who doesn't want to make money?
Exactly.
But what's crazy here is like how quickly things went south with Hawk Tuah.
Yeah, it really unraveled pretty fast.
Okay, so like right away, red flags start popping up.
Mm.
There's this group called Bubble Maps. They do blockchain analysis,
Right.
and they put out a report showing that like a tiny group of wallets
Right?
controlled 96% of the Hawk Tuah supply.
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
Doesn't really sound very community driven, does it?
Not really, no. When you have that much concentration of ownership, it really raises concerns about potential market manipulation.
Right.
Because if just a small group controls most of the tokens, they can pretty much control the price.
Yeah.
They could create these pumps and then dumps and leave regular investors holding the bag.
Oof. Yeah. That's not good.
Not good at all.
And the team behind Hawk Tuah, they like totally deny doing anything wrong.
Right.
They said they didn't sell any tokens or give them to influencers.
Mm-hmm.
But then the investigation found out that there was this pre-sale before the token even launched publicly.
Yeah, and that pre-sale is a really important part of this whole story.
Okay, so for people who might not be like crypto experts,
Mm-hmm.
could you explain what a pre-sale is?
Sure. So a pre-sale is basically like an early access sale where certain investors get to buy tokens at a discount before everyone else.
Okay.
In this case, the pre-sale valued Haktua at $16.69 million.
Ooh.
And it looks like they raised somewhere between 2.8 and $3.3 million from those early investors.
Okay, so that's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money. And here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The way they structured the token, there was this category called strategic allocation.
Okay.
And this allocation was totally unlocked at launch.
So what does that mean exactly?
Well, it means that anyone who had these strategically allocated tokens could sell them right away as soon as the token went live,
Yeah.
including potentially the team themselves.
So they were technically telling the truth about not selling during the public launch.
Right.
But they left out this whole pre-sale thing that let certain people cash out big time while everyone else was just buying in.
Exactly.
That doesn't seem very transparent.
No, not at all. And transparency is a big issue in the crypto world.
Yeah, I can see that.
You've got these complex token structures that can be really confusing, and they can create an unfair advantage for some investors.
And it sounds like the regular people they said they were helping were the ones who ended up losing out
It seems that way.
as the value of the token dropped.
Right.
Not really the community building they promised, huh?
It makes you wonder what their real intentions were.
Yeah. Did they actually want to build a community, or is that all just a marketing ploy?
That's a good question.
Okay, so we've got this shady pre-sale,
Huh?
a lack of transparency, and a bunch of people feeling misled.
Mm-hmm.
But then it gets even crazier when you look at the fees they had.
Yeah, the fees are where things took a turn for the worse, in my opinion.
Okay, so explain the fees.
They had a 15% fee on every single Hawk 2A trade.
15%, that's a lot.
It is. And they
Yeah.
said it was to stop snipers, which are basically people who try to profit from quick price changes.
Okay. Thanks.
But here's the thing. That big fee ended up making the creators way more money than it stopped any snipers. Yeah, they made almost $2 million in fees in just 24 hours.
Wow.
And the top sniper they were supposedly trying to stop only made around $13 million.
So they made more from the fees than the people they were trying to stop.
It makes you wonder if those high fees were really about protecting investors or if they were just another way to make money off of people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And when people started asking about who was benefiting from these fees during a Twitter Spaces conversation, the team just dodged the questions.
They did.
Yeah, they claim they were just covering operating expenses like a team of 18 people.
A team of 18 people for a new crypto project.
That's what they said.
It's all starting to sound pretty fishy.
Yeah, fishy's a good word for it.
Okay, so we've got this potentially manipulated pre-sale questionable fees, And a whole lot of avoiding responsibility.
Definitely.
But where does Haley Welsh, the influencer who was like the face of this whole thing, fit into all this?
That's where things get really complicated, and we'll dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
All right, sounds good. Let's get into it. So we left off with Haley, the face of this whole community token thing, right?
Yeah.
Making a bunch of money while all these everyday investors are left like, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
But the story doesn't end there.
It does not.
This whole thing like caught the attention of some big names in the crypto world.
Right.
And they were not happy about it.
No, they were not.
People like FaZe Banks.
Yeah.
He's like a huge YouTuber and gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick O'Neill, another big name in crypto.
Right.
They both called out the Hawk Tuah team during that Twitter Spaces thing.
Yeah, they didn't hold back at all.
No, they really didn't.
Mm.
They were questioning everything, the tokenomics, the pre-sale, the fees, the whole thing.
It was pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, I mean, they have huge followings themselves.
Right.
And they were risking, like, backlash from speaking out.
Absolutely.
It takes guts to do that.
It really does. And I think it's a good sign for the crypto space.
How so?
Well, it shows that there's a growing awareness about the need for transparency and ethical behavior.
Right. Even if it means calling out people with a lot of power or influence.
It's like a reminder that even in this crazy world of crypto, there are still people fighting for what's right.
Exactly.
But the drama didn't stop there.
No, it did not.
Remember Doc Hollywood?
Oh, yeah.
The guy who introduced Haley to this crypto thing?
I remember him.
Well, he had like a total meltdown during that Twitter Spaces conversation.
Oh, yeah, that was something else.
Instead of like addressing the concerns that people were bringing up,
Yeah.
he started attacking people personally.
Mm.
He even called anyone who criticized the project mentally ill.
Yeah, that was not a good look.
No, it was like watching a train wreck.
It really was.
And then he started saying that people should be kissing his ass for what he'd done.
Oh, wow.
It was bizarre. It was like he didn't understand how serious the situation was or how many people had lost money.
I think his reaction shows a problem that exists in the crypto space.
What do you mean?
Well, there's this culture of defensiveness and this resistance to criticism.
It's like they believe so strongly in the power of crypto that they can't handle anyone questioning it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that kind of thinking can be dangerous, especially in an industry that's not very regulated.
Where there are a lot of scams and manipulation.
Exactly.
It creates an environment where people don't want to think critically.
Right.
And where they might miss red flags.
That's why these conversations, these deep dives are so important. It's about encouraging healthy skepticism, questioning assumptions, and holding everyone accountable.
From the creators to the influencers to the investors.
Everyone.
Okay, so back to Haley.
Yeah.
Her entertainment lawyer talked to the guy who made the video and transcript.
Oh, right.
And things get even more complicated when you hear what he had to say.
Okay, what did he say?
Well, he basically painted Haley as someone who genuinely wanted to build a community token.
Right.
And introduce her fans to Web3.
Interesting.
He said she was promised 50% of the profits.
Whoa. 50%.
That's a lot.
It is. And it makes you wonder how involved she really was.
Right.
Did she know about the tokenomics, the fees?
Exactly. Like, did she actually research this project before promoting it to all her fans?
Yeah, because her fans trust her recommendations.
They do.
And her lawyer even said that she was supposed to have a say in decisions like token allocation.
But we know that didn't happen.
Right. So was she intentionally misled, or did she just not use the power she had?
It's hard to say for sure.
It really is. It's a tricky situation.
On one hand, you have her lawyer saying she was a victim.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, she was the one promoting this to millions of people.
It's a classic example of the ethical issues that can come up when influencers get involved in crypto.
Especially when it's something as risky and unregulated as crypto.
Yeah, it raises questions about responsibility, transparency, and the potential for things to go wrong.
And the fact that Haley left that Twitter Spaces conversation when people started asking tough questions doesn't exactly make her look good.
It doesn't. Whether she was just overwhelmed or didn't know the answers, her silence definitely speaks volumes.
It does.
Yeah.
And it just added to the frustration of people who felt like she let them down.
So we've got this influencer caught in the middle of this mess.
Right.
A team that's blaming everyone else and a community that's trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
What does this all mean?
What are the lessons we can learn from this?
Let's get into that in the last part of our deep dive. All right, so we've gone through like all the crazy stuff that went down with Hawk Tuah, the hype, the red flags, the shady stuff, the arguments.
It's been a wild ride.
It really has.
Yeah.
So like, what does it all mean? What are the big takeaways?
Well, I think the Hawk 2A thing really shows us that the crypto world is still like the Wild West.
Right.
There's so much potential and innovation, but there are also a lot of scams, and it can be hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, and it really makes you realize how important it is to be a smart investor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't just trust influencers or get caught up in the hype.
You got to do your research. Exactly. Do your due diligence, understand the tokenomics, the technology, the team behind the project.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, even if it seems like everyone else is already on board.
If something seems too good to be true,
It probably is.
especially in crypto,
Yeah, where the promise of making a lot of money quickly can make people do crazy things.
with Hawk 2A and that whole pre-sale thing and those crazy fees,
Right.
it makes you wonder if they ever really wanted to build a community token.
Or if they were just in it for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we might never know the answer for sure.
It's a good point.
But I think it points to a bigger issue in crypto,
Which is,
trying to figure out what's real innovation and what's just a scam.
right, and then you've got the influencers who make things even more complicated,
Definitely. They have a lot of power, and they can influence a lot of people.
especially people who are new to crypto,
Exactly. So it's really important for influencers to be transparent.
about like any money they're getting for promoting a project.
Yeah, and they need to educate their followers about the risks.
It's not just about hyping things up,
Right. They need to give people a balanced perspective and help them make good decisions.
not just blindly following them.
Exactly.
I think this whole Hawk 2A thing also shows how important it is for the crypto community to look out for each other.
I agree. The fact that people like FaZe Banks and Nick O'Neill were willing to speak up even though they could have gotten a lot of hate for it,
Yeah.
it shows that people are starting to realize that we need to work together to make crypto a safer place.
To protect each other from scams.
Exactly.
We're all in this together.
We are. So what can we learn from all of this? What advice would you give to someone who's interested in crypto, but also kind of nervous after hearing about what happened with Hawk 2A?
Well, first of all, don't let this one bad experience scare you away from crypto altogether.
Yeah, there are a lot of great projects out there.
And the technology itself has the potential to change the world.
It really does. But you need to be careful.
Do your research, understand the risks?
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Talk to people who know about crypto.
And most importantly, make your own decisions.
Don't let anyone else tell you what to do with your money.
Exactly. It's your money and your responsibility.
I think the Hawk 2A situation can teach us all a lot.
It can.
It shows us that the crypto world is still young and we're all figuring it out together.
We are. And by working together to promote transparency, accountability, and responsible investing.
We can make crypto a better place for everyone.
Absolutely.
So that wraps up our deep dive into the Hawk 2A crypto situation.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you learned something.
And that you'll keep exploring the world of crypto.
Just remember to be smart about it.
And as always, happy investing.